Today, I'm going to tell you an interesting story about the life of Saint Andrew the Apostle. Saint Andrew is also known as the patron saint of Scotland, fishermen, and rope makers. He was born in the humble village of Bethsaida on the shores of the Sea of Galilee around the 1st century. As a child, he grew up learning the everyday skills and trades of life along the shores of Galilee, and he was also very observant. When he was young, he became a fisherman working alongside his brother Simon, who would later be known as Peter. But Saint Andrew was not just an ordinary man. He had a restless heart and a soul searching for truth. One day, a young man named John the Baptist came to their town preaching about the coming of the Messiah. Out of his curiosity, he followed John and became his disciple. When they traveled to Judea to baptize new converts, Jesus of Nazareth came. When he was seen by John the Baptist, he exclaimed, "Behold, the Lamb of God." Immediately, Saint Andrew stood up and followed Jesus and became his first disciple. And from that moment on, he walked beside him. He then ran to his brother Peter and told him with great excitement that he found the Messiah. As a disciple, he witnessed many miracles such as the blind receiving sight, the lame walking, and even the dead being raised, all performed by Jesus. One story about Saint Andrew in the Gospel was about the multiplication of the bread. One day a crowd of 5,000 people followed Jesus. They were all hungry, but there was no food to eat. Jesus then tested his disciples, asking, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" Out of Saint Andrew's observant eye, he saw a boy with a basket filled with barely 5 loaves of bread. He then brought the boy to Jesus, who miraculously multiplied the bread, feeding everyone in the crowd. After Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, Saint Andrew traveled far to spread the gospel and evangelize. According to some experts, he traveled to Greece, Scythia, which is now Ukraine, and southern Russia. In his travels, he preached the gospel, converted many people. One day, when he went to Greece, a Roman official was angered by his preaching. He was then arrested and was sentenced to death by crucifixion. During his crucifixion, Saint Andrew asked to be nailed to an X-shaped cross because he felt unworthy to die in the same way as Jesus. This cross is now famously called Saint Andrew's Cross. For 2 days he hung on the cross, still preaching to the crowds who gathered, until he took his final breath. After his martyrdom, his body was buried by his followers. Later, a cathedral was constructed at his burial site to honor his memory, and it was called the Cathedral of Saint Andrew in Patras, Greece. Around the year 1208, a portion of his relics were gifted to King William I of Scotland to strengthen the ties between the Catholic Church in Rome and the Scottish Empire. Today, Saint Andrew is venerated as the patron saint of Scotland, fishermen, and rope makers. His feast day is celebrated every 30th of November. If you like stories like this, support us, follow, like, and subscribe.